Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this episode we will be talking about uh multiverse. Like, is it possible for multiverse to happen actually? Well, my short answer is no, there's no such thing as called multiverse. That's my belief actually. Um the reason why is because well, it's quite simple. First, what is universe, right? It's this. Let's say this is a universe, right? And if there is another universe, um, and then there's another universe again, and then there's infinite one universe. So where is the location of all of these? Um, like, there must be a bigger place that contains all of this, right? Um, it can just be like there's one over here and then there's one over there. Then that can be possible. There must be something that contain all of these, so that there is no universe that is contained, that is not contained, right? um, and then the next is because if this is our universe, right, and as we know that over time our universe actually grows, quote unquote grows, uh, like become bigger because there is the what is called like some kind of dark matter keep increasing, which pushes everything uh, you know uh, towards the outer boundary of the space, right? And the thing about that is, uh, since there's lots of them, there's lots of universe, and as I said earlier, there must be a vessel, right? Like a container that contain all of these. And what if these, universe actually touch each other because this keep getting bigger, right? And one time it will be, this will uh, this will happen eventually, stuff like this, and then etc. Where there is, a connection in at one point where a space and a time of one universe actually collides with another one, because the universe is keep getting bigger because of those dark matter that I mentioned earlier. So what's the law of this, like, what happen if this actually touch each other because of the universe keep getting bigger, right? And then that's one question. So um yeah, I don't think that's actually possible, if you think about it like that. And I think that it's all just, it's surely fun to think that there's actually another universe as a result of multiple path or stuff like that that's happened from the start towards the end. But let's take a look about that then. So what I believe, time uh, works, it has a starting point and it has an end point, right? Like a moment of event, there's a start and there's an end. And of course it starts with one point, and even though the end is one point, it can be, there's a lots of end, right? Because of these branches, uh, you know stuff like that, that cause uh, stuff to occur in a way. But and that eventually leads, all to the end point of that event, specific event, or in general the whole sequence of time from the actual start to the actual end. And of course, like, these branches is not always there's not always one line. It can also be from, for example, from this point I will take another color. From this point it can actually branch, and just follows this branch, because the outcome is the same as if it takes this route. Or just like this, there's branch over here that is actually the same as uh you know stuff that happened at this point. So this can also branch towards this, and then uh it it has the same outcome as this branch, right? And so on and so on. So it doesn't always have to be branch and make a new make a new route. It can actually merge with the other outcome that has a similar or the same, actually the same outcome. And yeah, so that's the our general knowledge about branch in time, right? Like, what if A, what if B kind of situation. But the thing is that, um, since since time only move in one way from the starting to the end point, um, whichever of these branch doesn't matter. It always start from the start and end at the end point, right? So it can never go back or loop and stuff like that. And the thing about that is that, uh, then in one of this event, for instance, this event, it means that there will only be one route that is true or canonical route, right? Which leads to n, starting from the start point, and only has one route, one path basically. And which means that, since this is the canonical, it means that all of the other is actually non-existent. All of this never happened. All of the other branch, uh, and I believe that. And yeah, since the other never happened, it means that there's never actually an answer to what if this happened, right? Because it actually never happened. So that theoretical multiverses actually never happened in the first place. Because the path that is canonical is this. And once you are at this, for instance, at this point, you cannot prove that this there is actually a branch over here. So, or even over here or over here, it since you already move forward, there is no actually, you cannot prove that this will happen. Because of that, so that's why all of these other branches then therefore never happened, which means that the these all of these theoretical what if multiverses will never happen in the first place. And therefore there's only one actual, well, I make another color. There will be one actual path or route that's taken, which leads to this single event. And this also applies at the general, at the bigger scale. Like, for instance, from the start of time, since the beginning of time over here, it can whatever do something over here, but at the end it's always take it always take one point of n. And because it takes one route, thus this all other the cyan color over here never actually happen. Therefore, um, can always say that there's only one, one path means one universe only uh, type of situation. Because if speaking of multiverse, like you always people always talk about what if A happen, what if B happen. I should have done B because uh, it could have been uh, another outcome, right? Since I took A, I never know what will be due to the original branch. But the thing is that never happened, so you cannot always confirm that uh, you know uh, case actually happening, right? But of course, probably lots of people disagree with that, but I generally don't think there's such thing as called multiverses. There's only one and one only because yeah, again, from those two reasons, the first one being, what happened if one universe actually collides with another one, right? And then what actually contains those, universes? You don't know, right? Um, and then the second reason being time is moving forward and only forward, therefore there's only one route or path that's taken basically, and any other scenario never existed in the first place because it never happened. Yeah, that's my take about that. Also, wait, I think I thought I think about something else. I kind of forgot what it was. So about that is, what about the random stuff? Random. What if it's not because of brands? For instance, this is the brands of A and B, uh, and then if A happened, then B could be something else, kind of type of multiverse. So, what if it's not actually like this? What if it's actually totally different since the begin? Um, for instance, what if actually there's 2 point, right? Which has totally different scenario. Like um, for instance, uh, a person uh takes a job as journalist, and then he lives his life um just doing their usual stuff, and then there's another universe in which this person is actually not a journalist but a soccer player, right? That kind of stuff, which it's always different since the beginning. Well, in this case I still think that this cannot happen since because of the first reason that I said about uh, you know these all of these balls of universes, um, because again all of this will expand, right? um, and then at some point it will get big enough and it will collide with each other, right? But um, then you might ask, what if it's not the case? What if they are not in the same place? Then, well, then what will be it? Uh, is it like this where all of this represents a line represents universes and it's stacked on top of each other? Um then well, it's still the same, right? Um you know how far this go down or go up, and whichever direction it's going infinitely there. um in my take is that there's always a bigger stuff than infinity, which is in this case is the vessel or something, one thing that holds on all of these together, um, so that there's actually an end of a multiverse, that it's not actually infinite, it's just a lot of scenario, but it never gets to infinity because uh, you can always think about a case, or you can always count something like, or case, that it never gets to a point where it becomes infinity because it's actually countable. You can count each of those universe. For instance, in this one A happen, or in this one B happen, in this one C happen. Because you can count these, then it means that you can count all of them, even the Z or A B and stuff like that. It keeps going, and you can actually trace that, and that makes it not entirely infinite. Then yeah, then because of that, then it will take so much energy to contain all of this, right? And you cannot think, I personally cannot think what actually holds all of these, all of these, that one thing that holds them all. Yeah, that's, it's hard, of course, to understand, but also it's hard to prove, and it's hard to just not let it go. But of course, there's always a hope, in um, which makes people always think that, um, oh, I should have gone this path, not this one. And because of those regrets, um, I hope or believe that somewhere else, somewhere else, this actually happened, with the path that I don't take, and that becomes hope, right? And that the hope gets bigger, and then the hope manifests that all of this is real. There's actually something happening over here, and that's always great, for human, uh, character, which means that, um, I made mistakes, and then therefore in the future, I will not repeat the same mistakes and actually take the right path, because um, you know these branches always happen all the time in the future. This minute, the next minute, 1 hour from now, there's always this branch which enhance that person's character, their belief that something should have happened but didn't happen, taking that lesson into the for future brands, and that so that they can pick a better way or better path and not repeat the same mistakes. But the thing is that I would say those actually never happened in the first place, um, because it never happened, right? And yeah, I guess that's great for just kind of building your character, to be a better person in the future, that kind of stuff, right? And you know just kind of dreaming that, somewhere else, another me actually lives better than me, or worse than me, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's always great, um, but I still personally think that, uh, it has to have, reasons to happen at the first place, like why or where the stuff happening, right? So that it's not just imagination, that someone has to actually prove that it's real first. Of course, I don't 100% disbelieving that this never happens. Of course, I believe, somehow, there is something that I don't understand just yet. But at the same time, that I think it gets a little bit too complicated, and that I cannot comprehend what's going on. And I just use that um, just as example of me not doing the same mistakes in the future, um, so that I don't end up regretting my past choices that I never taken in the first place, and that makes me become a better person in general. So yeah, that's my take about multiverse. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.